Alright, my name is David Sodergren. I'm here with Boris, and I'm going to be reading the first chapter from my book, Dead Girl Blues. Thanks a lot to Sadie for putting this whole thing on, by the way, it's brilliant. Here we go. Chapter 1. At around 7 p.m. on a crisp October evening, Jessica Chalmers stabbed a man twice in the neck and made her escape. She had her reasons, and now she ran. She didn't know where she was or where she was going, but still she ran, using only the moonlight to guide her. They were out there, tracking her, so she avoided the mud, sticking to the grass despite roots that threatened to trip her with every step. Mud meant footprints, and footprints meant they could follow her. She was surprised at how clearly she was able to think under the circumstances. Wizened branches clawed at her naked body. There'd been no time to grab her clothes, just her phone. Thank God she had her phone. Maybe, just maybe, this could all be worthwhile. She realized she still clutched the knife in her bony hand, the man's blood wet and glistening on the serrated blade. She glanced back and saw nothing but the silhouettes of the trees. But she knew they were following. They couldn't let her live, not now. Not after what she'd seen. Not after what she'd done. And so she ran, head down, arms swinging. She needed clothes, not out of any sense of modesty, but because her pale body would be a beacon in the shattered moonlight that slanted through the branches. Again, the clarity of her thoughts surprised her. If only she had seen things this plainly before. Days ago, weeks, months even. Before it all began, before she got involved. Oh, hindsight, you wretched, useless bastard. She stopped a moment and leaned against a tree, her breath coming in hitched gasps, heart hammering like an outboard motor, and then she was off again, running for her life. She heard a noise, someone shouting. Or did she? She wasn't going to wait and find out. Something caught her foot and she tripped and went sprawling across the grass. The phone and the knife spilled from her hands, and she crawled forwards, gasping for breath, sweeping her arms in front of her in a panic. She touched the knife and grabbed it, closing her fingers around the blade, cutting herself, barely noticing. A light behind her, in the distance. Torchlight. She had to go, now, but she couldn't leave the phone. She felt sick, her stomach tightening as she gripped the knife, praying she wouldn't have to use it again. Not again. There'd been so much blood last time. So much blood. A beam of light illuminated a tree 20 feet from her, sweeping through the night. Damn them all to hell! Her fingertips scraped the cold metallic sheen of the phone, and she almost yelped with joy. She seized it and hurtled through the trees, angling away from her pursuers. That was too close. She stole a look over her shoulder, blood pumping furiously through her veins. The torchlight was far away. She had lost them. For now. She had to get back to the city, back to Edinburgh. It was her only chance. Beyond her the forest ended and became a field that stretched to the dark horizon. She would be out in the open, exposed. She came to the edge of the trees and knelt, looking for signs of life. The field was huge. There was no way around. Black clouds swept across the sky like warships, obscuring the glow of the moon. As the field dipped into inky darkness, Jessica took off running again. The torchlight had vanished. Had she really lost them? Could she be that lucky? Too late, she turned and saw the man. She didn't even have time to scream. Time was in short supply these days. They collided, crashing to the ground in a tangle of limbs. Without thinking, Jessica raised the knife and brought it down into his chest, once, twice, again and again, blind panic drawing its midnight veil over her eyes. Oh God, what if it's a farmer? Oh God, what have I done? She stopped, her hand shaking. The blade was covered in straw. She touched the rigid corpse and felt the wooden pole of his spine. She had just stabbed a scarecrow to death. Under different circumstances, it would have been funny. The rotten turnip head leered at her as moonlight edged its way past the clouds, clumps of hay askew within the worn tweed jacket. Jesus, she said, getting to her feet. She paused. This spooky fucker might yet come in handy. She undid the buttons and stripped the jacket from the scarecrow, stuffing her thin arms through the sleeves. It hung over her shoulders like a sack, several sizes too big. So what? She wasn't strutting down the catwalks of Milan, for fuck's sake. She tried to wrestle the trousers off, inexplicably feeling bad about doing so, but they had been nailed to the post. When she stood, the baggy jacket hung down to her knees, like a little girl rummaging through her father's closet. She tucked the phone into a pocket. Ahead, beyond the rolling hills, thousands of lights twinkled dreamily, a distant galaxy, a science fiction. The city. She staggered onwards with renewed vigour. For the first time in a long time, she was filled with a sense of hope. Home. It was far away, yes, but she could see it. A train roared past, startling her, and this time she did scream. Blurred faces stared impassively out the window, oblivious to the half-naked girl in the field, the one clutching the bloody knife. Then it was gone, and the oppressive silence resumed its chokehold on the countryside, the harsh lights of the train sparkling across the field and disappearing, heading towards the city, towards Edinburgh. Jessica checked her pockets, finding the comforting coldness of the phone. She was tired, her legs throbbing, the soles of her feet bleeding, and yet she kept walking, following the railway line. Squinting into the night, she thought she could make out a dim light further down the track. A station. She choked back a sob and resumed her journey. If she could get on a train, she'd be safe. She hoped. Alright, that's that. Thanks for listening. And big thanks from Boris, of course. Cheers, guys. Thanks, Sadie. Stay safe.